Brock, Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, and really, Dak Prescott. These are game managers. They're not difference makers.
When you say game manager, I'm not asking you to go out and win the game. I'm just asking you not to lose.
Not to lose the game. Exactly. Listen, I don't give a damn what you do. You don't have to score every time. You just don't have to throw a pick every time either. If we're going to really call a spade, there's a difference between managers of the game and difference makers of a game.
Like, give me a break. I'm just so, honestly, move past the outfit for a second. He literally said, in the year of 2023, where it's all about NFL backups, where is Cam? Not on an NFL roster, right? So he's talking about all these NFL game managers. He sounds like the people literally tweeting at me from their basement, get back in the kitchen. It's like you are at home watching me. Just turn the TV off.
Probably in the kitchen.
It just sounds so foolish.
Yes, I'm taken aback by a lot of that. Can anyone explain it?
I don't want to hear quarterback analysis from people that are still trying to be quarterbacks in the NFL because there's a clear bias to it. That being said, none of those players to me are game managers. Now, here's the controversial part. Here's the little hint of truth in what he's saying is that I always think about quarterbacks in the NFL like cooks versus chefs. A cook is someone who executes established recipes, whereas a chef is someone you can just roll out there. Aaron Rodgers is a chef. You don't really need a fully baked out offense for Aaron Rodgers. He can go out there, figure it out because he has such an offensive field. There are very, very few quarterbacks like that. Do I think Dak Prescott, Tua, Brock, and Jared are benefiting from incredible offensive coordinators who are giving them great game plans? Absolutely. But that is NFL football. That is not a game manager.
You're dressed too nicely to agree with Cam.
Yeah, exactly.
You clearly just said what he said, just use some different words. I would say that it's called Funky Friday. That's his podcast. He wants you to download, rate, and review. Yeah. He's saying some wild stuff so he can get on Get Up. So please do that man a favor because that's absurd. Dak Prescott, when he said Dak's name, he telling jokes.
First of all,
now.
when you put Goff, when you put Jared Goff and Dak Prescott in the same conversation, right there you've lost. He's selling sponsorships. But at the end of the day, he could not be more wrong about Brock Purdy and about Dak Prescott. Because let me tell you something. I don't care what system you have. I don't care what players you have. You have to execute. Brock Purdy has thrown more tight window passes than any quarterback in the last 2 years. Dak Prescott has scored 28 touchdowns and you still have to execute it. So how is that management of a game, bro? That's not management. That is creating plays and whatever the play design is. You think Peyton Manning didn't benefit from having Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison and Dallas Clark and Edgerrin James and Marshall Faulk, or Tom Brady didn't benefit? Everybody benefits for your team. That's why you have a team. Not one dude is doing it. So if you are one, you don't think he benefited from Steve Smith?
I was going to say,
was a freaking dog, bro.
Is he not
Greg
in that
Olsen?
category?
Yeah, Greg.
Are we supposed to believe?
Where are we with that kind? It should be all of us together. That's why it's the best team game in the world. I can't stand when people separate them, but when you put those dudes in the same conversation, you lost me.
Hit the gas or pump the brakes. For people who are saying Mike Tomlin's going to have his first losing season, you hit the gas or you pump the brakes?
Oh, this pains me to say, Greeny. I'm going to say hit the gas, not because of Mike Tomlin, but because of this locker room. Unfortunately, ego seems to be rampant in this locker room, and the players are going to cost their head coach his first losing season, and it's a shame.
Next, if people are saying Tommy DeVito, who, by the way, is the
Offensive Player of the Week, Tommy DeVito.
NFC Offensive Player of the Week. If people are saying he should just be their quarterback from now on, hit the gas or pump the brakes?
Okay, I'm going to say pump the brakes, not because I don't want to see Tommy DeVito actually be the quarterback, but my question is, they just paid Daniel Jones. Where is he going? Where are you going to put Daniel Jones? That's really it. It's the fact that Daniel Jones is injured and he's going to come back. That's the only reason I see Danny being the starter going forward.
By the way, Tommy DeVito and Zach Wilson this weekend's
great day for
players of the week. Let's go to the NFC. If someone says that conference is a two-horse race, Niners, Cowboys, and that's it, hit the gas or pump the brakes?
Brakes, Greeny. Did the Eagles fall off the face of the earth? Where are they? Again, I said it earlier. I'm old enough to remember people talking about Jalen Hurts as the ultimate closer and this team having one of the best rosters. I think this has been a bad stretch, not a bad time for the Eagles. Put them in there.
Are the Eagles still, after these last 2 weeks in which they've really been manhandled by the Niners and the Cowboys, Hawk, are they a legitimate Super Bowl contender?
Yes, they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. To Kimberly's point, we've been here all season. All of a sudden, are they not one of the most talented rosters in the league? They did beat the Cowboys the first time. I know we have recency bias and that we think the sky is falling down. Do they have identity issues on offense? Absolutely. Do they have to figure out their defense and where all those holes are coming from? For sure. But this has been who they've been all season, and they've won in spite of that because of who they have in that locker room. And I think that's a good thing because they are battle-tested. They built that perseverance, and they know how to win close games against good teams. You talked earlier about the point differential versus the Cowboys and the 49ers and them.
Yep.
They've played a harder schedule. We've talked all season about the Cowboys' cupcake schedule, so yes, they're going to have a bigger point differential in their wins.
It is, however, substantial. The Cowboys and the Eagles have the same record. The Cowboys have outscored their opposition by 188 points. The Eagles have outscored theirs by 21 points. It's a substantial difference. The schedules do flip, though, now. The Eagles have a much easier ride the rest of the way. Neek.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absurd to say the defending NFC champs don't have a chance, but they have come back to the pack. Last year was obvious. They were the best team, it seemed like, in all of football last year, and it was pretty clear. Now they're in the pack, and the problem with these close games is you can't control the luck and the bounces of it. So, yes, Jalen Hurts can be a great closer, and this team can be super talented, but I find it hard to imagine that they're going to win 3 close games in a row in the playoffs against the best in the NFL. So
look at the great note there from Himbo. The Eagles have played the hardest schedule in the NFL. The Cowboys have played the 3rd easiest. A reminder, the Cowboys have tough games coming up. They've got Buffalo, they've got Baltimore, and they've got one more very challenging game. It's jumping out of my head what it is. Miami.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of games against good teams here. Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you look at last year and this year, and we just talked about they weren't the runaway team they were last year, right? They've got a play differential offensive as a -75. That means they played basically a game and a half extra on defense. So their defense is fatigued, and they've played some really good offenses, right, and tried to stop them. Their offense, they've had a +41 explosive plays last year. They got +1 this year. So both sides of the ball didn't get it done. They're not running the ball as well this year. So there's some areas that they can improve. But let me tell you, they got 4 get-right games, and Dallas just had their get-right games. They lost to the Eagles one time and they beat the Eagles one time, right? Division opponents, you expect that kind of thing. But if the Eagles get their stuff right over the next 4, they will be trending in those bigger numbers, right? 80-point differential, whatever it is, because they should put these teams away. I think the issue is we find the last 2 games in San Fran and Dallas, and we put an indictment on the Eagles. They haven't played as well. They're still won 10 games with the hardest schedule in the league.
Is the NFC at the end of the day, though? I'll give you a last unofficial.
You're not going to get me to say 49ers Invitational.
Is it the San Francisco Invitational? Pump the gas, or what is it? Hit the gas, pump the brakes.
Yeah, I'm going to say hit the gas.
Yeah,
because preseason, Jeffrey, want to hear this genius? You know, my genius is genius that isn't appreciated.
Will
in the
never
moment,
be
but you
fully
guys will see it.
appreciated, yeah.
Preseason, my Super Bowl teams, Baltimore 49ers.
Sounding good right now.
Good right now.
Right now.